Yes.
Okay.
Go on.
Yeah, so you guys
Huh?
protect.
I will take photos for you to give.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Okay,
Okay.
you guys have to use your hand to get out this you need to use this.
Do you know how to use
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah, I know how to use it.
Good.
Yeah, but there's no. Can you see that? There's no nothing happening there. You know? Okay. There's no. There's no red one. Where is the red one? Yeah? Okay. Okay, here's the red one. Okay. Okay, good afternoon, Professor Lin and my classmates. Today I'm going to share with you the better corporate governance dividend signals, more credible evidence from Taiwan and Spain. The reason I want to research on Taiwan and Spain is because this research is already done, comparison between Taiwan and Spain. So the research motivation is that the credibility of dividend signals varies significantly across different governance structures and market backgrounds. This research undertakes a cross-market comparison between Taiwan and Spain. And the research focuses on how governance influences the dividend signals, credibility, and the strength of the market reaction. Okay. And the research question is that, does the quality of the firm's corporate governance moderate the stock market's reaction to a dividend change announcement? Yeah. If the corporate governance is good, does that mean that people will trust the dividend announcement more? Yeah. So the context is that we are not just asking if dividends affect stock price, but how much the governance will influence that effect. So we know we have some hypotheses about the distribution questions. The manager use costly dividend increases to signal confidence in the future, sustainable cash flow to the market. Yeah, sometimes they will pay out a high dividend to say that we have high cash flow in the future, but it might not be that the firm really make money. And mechanisms that provide a core mechanism for why dividends cause market reaction. The core is positive for increases. And there's an agency theory about this hypothesis, which is that there's a conflict exists between managers and controlling shareholders and minority shareholders. There's an interest conflict. And the governance role is that governance is a mechanism to mitigate agency cost. Dividend can mitigate free cash flow profit, Taiwan cost, or as a mechanism against expropriation. Okay. Can you email this one? Yeah. So, yeah. So this is what we can work on. Yeah. Thank you very much. Can I move?
Yes, please.
What is that? Can I move it? Okay, thank you. And this the literature debate is that substitute first outcome. And the dividend outcome model, we use some, we have hypotheses, or we have theories, or we still have models. One model is the dividend outcome model, is that good governance leads to higher payouts as shareholders can force cash distribution. If I can just ask you to pay the cash. And the dividend substitution model is that weak governance firms pay higher dividends to substitute for poor shareholder protection. Yeah, they ask the firms to pay out high dividends if they want, the shareholders. and the research focus moderation, and the core view is governance quality enhances the credibility of the dividend signal. Yeah, and the mechanism that the quality of governance structures, like board independence, dictates how effectively the market interprets the dividend announcement. Yeah, meaning like good governance, meaning there's more independent board members, and that can affect the governance, and that in turn will make the dividend policies better and stable. So we have three hypotheses I want to address. One is signal credibility. The positive dividend following announced dividend increase is positively correlated with the quality of the firm's corporate governance. And in plain terms, that when a company with good governance announces a dividend increase, the market reacts more positively because the signal is more credible. And hypothesis two is that governance impact on policy. Corporate governance variables have significant impacts on dividend policy. Three, Taiwan is more focused on technology and export industry. The dividend values fluctuation should be larger than spend. That's what I suppose. Hypothesis. And look at the data and sample. All these firms that announce dividend, I get the data from 2015 and 2024. Only a few data, not very big. Okay. The core econometric model is that OL's regression. What I want to test the effect of governance and dividend policy. This is the model here. The dividend is comprised of governance. In here, probably it's not a quadratic variation. It should be linear variation because my sample size is small. And for this governance measure, board independent ratio and TWS CG score. In Taiwan, we have CG score, high CG score and low CG score. What I do is that I use the two string. One is top tier, 5% top, and low tier, the lowest 20% tier, low CG score to compare the two strings. The control variables is firm size, profitability, growth and opportunities, and NB ratio. I keep these variables fixed. And look at these high and low. This is Taiwan, this is Spain. We can see it's really different. This is a dividend payout ratio and dividend. Look at this. This is high par in Taiwan. Look at the dividend payout ratio is stable. But look at the low CG, corporate governance. See, we have zero here. Zero. They didn't pay you for the low. The same in Spain. We look at the high CG company. See, it's very stable in terms of the payout ratio. But look at the low CG ratio. Look at here. There's zero. So it's not stable. It's not stable. It's really, this test hypothesis. The hypothesis is true. Yeah, it's not stable. Look at the contrasting two strings. One is top and one is lower tier. Okay, so we come to the conclusion is that we see that this is top tier in Taiwan. We see that how does the stock price respond when the governance is high, the stability is very high, and the stock price react when increasing high credibility means low surprise factor. So it's good. The positive reaction in a high governance. The same with the other good company, high CG company. And look at it. Big company, low CG company, corporate governance. Look at this. This Huangxiang Construction Company, Helian Keji, and you see low governance, high volatility. We see that. The stock price is that when the dividend is announced, it's not positive effect, but the stock price need a major surprise to rally, often very volatile. See, low governance firms is announced, the stock price doesn't react so stable. So the same with the other low CG firms. The stock price doesn't react very positively. So we know that the payout stability, the high and low is different. One high CG, the stability is very high, and the low CG and stability is very extremely unstable. Look at that, Huangxiang 3,000%. Why is that? I think people would, they get a, it's very high because they get a return earning to pay the dividend, get a return earning. So people will not think this is a possible response when you announce the dividend. Okay, let's look at the statistics, descriptive statistics between Taiwan and Spain. See, look at that. See, we look at the beta value. This is a linear function. And in Taiwan, and the index drops a lot. For Taiwan, for Spain, the beta drop a little. Why? Meaning that Taiwan drops a lot. Meaning dividend drops a lot. So it means that Taiwan is a technology company, and dividend doesn't pay as much as Spain. I mean, in terms of the payout ratio. So that's what we found the difference. And in the R, adjusted R square, this is greater than Spain, meaning it explains better in Taiwan in terms of this dividend model. Okay, so we can come to a conclusion that why is that Taiwan is so different from Spain in terms of it drops a lot. Let's see.
What does it mean drop a lot?
The dividend. The dividend here. Taiwan, this is dividend, this is -4, so it drops a lot. I mean, when the dividend drops a lot, meaning the dividend value drops a lot. Because Taiwan will invest money on R&D more, and Spain they do not. So
And this means that better corporate governance, the score is high,
yeah.
and the dividend is higher.
This is referred to the whole thing, the Taiwan's, the two top extreme, top and low extreme. Because I get a sample from the top tier 5% and lower tier -20%, and I put them all together and compare. The two extreme, and we notice that in Taiwan, it drops a lot in terms of dividend payout here. Because Taiwan invests most of money in R&D.
Understand.
Yeah.
But why is dividend? Is this dividend yield or dividend amount?
This is dividend yield. Yeah. Dividend, I think it's dividend payout ratio.
Or payout ratio?
Payout ratio.
Okay,
Yeah.
payout ratio.
Yeah.
So better corporate governance has a negative effect.
Because it put most of money in R&D in Taiwan. Because it's technology focused.
Understand.
And export reliance.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why. It doesn't say that it's not bad. It's no good. It doesn't say that. It say that it put more money in R&D. It's like this. Because technology concentration requires more capital expenditure. It doesn't pay that much. That's why. Because the export reliance. So external fluctuation are not. This is very volatile. Sometimes overseas customers are not that stable in Taiwan. And so compare relative to Spain. Relative to Spain. And also geopolitical risk. There's no geopolitical risk in Spain. So he needs to signal by paying higher dividends. So it fluctuates a lot. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so we know that we support the H1, H2, and H3. So governance is the moderate signal effectiveness, and we support the hypothesis. Cross-country comparisons that providing empirical evidence on the structural difference. And the government dividend relationship between Taiwan and Spain, a comparison, is really done before. This is contribution, possible contribution. And the signaling theory enhancement that demonstrate governance structure actively moderate the effectiveness of credibility of capital market signals. So the practical and policy implications that for investors, we certainly want to filter the dividend announcement. We trust in the high CG firms more because the stock price will react better, react positive, is more credible. See, we know that. And for regulators and managers, that investing is better in governance that not only reduces the agent's cost, but also enhances the firm's credibility in capital market. Yeah, thank you very much. Any question?
Okay. For where's the evidence that the market react more strongly for high CG firms dividend
Okay,
announcement?
evidence here. Yeah. These are the evidence. Yeah. The stock price reaction, the positive reaction, this is TSMC. This when it increases high predictability, means a low surprise factor. Yeah, positive reaction. Yeah. And this is a bad.
So you use the event study?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I use quantitative and qualitative, both methods.
Right.
But the next time we will research on a bigger data because we don't have data analytical skill, so we use very small amount, small sample size. This is bad, so they require major surprise to ready, often volatile. So this is stock price. Yeah, this is the evidence. Yeah, so in terms of the stock price. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Question? Ask. Question?
Okay. If no question, next one. Yeah.
If I am an investor losing dividend, then should I keep away from the high corporate governance stock?
If investor want to invest on high CG company,
High dividend.
high dividend. Yeah, sure. Because high dividend is good for your life expenses. You can invest on, but if it is belongs to low CG company, you probably need to think about it. It probably can give you, like I say, Huang Xiang, give you 3,000%. And it's good for you. You know, I need to get more money, but you probably get zero. Remember that? You probably get zero. You probably get zero right here, zero. Yeah, this is low CG, right? You get high, but you 192. Oh, very good. I get a lot of money. I can spend, but it turns out it's zero. Not stable. If low CG, it's not stable because the signal is what people don't trust it. Don't trust it because it's low CG. Because it's low CG. Yeah. So I would suggest you invest on high CG company. Yeah, and that be more stable policy. Yeah, you can have maybe you can eat a lot this year, but next year, I don't want you to die from that. Yeah, this year you can have food to eat every year, very stable. It's very that. Yeah, any question? Okay, second one.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, if we look at dividend, let's say dividend reflect earnings.
Yeah.
And is this an earning affect corporate governance or corporate governance affect dividend?
I think they both affect each other. Usually that would be a good governance, have better earning. And the better earning will fit into good governance. That's a cycle.
So,
but usually, in terms of causality, that will be good governance and make you more money.
So how this is a more profitable firm have more consistent dividend.
Yes.
So that is not much about corporate governance. You see the question?
Yeah.
More persistent earnings pay more persistent dividend.
Yes. Yes.
Because high earning have high corporate governance.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So such a effect does not tell us about corporate governance.
Usually, if you don't have a good corporate governance, you probably do not have very stable earning, because there will be a lot of problem, not being transparent enough, and doesn't govern well, and so you will not make money. Usually, that's usually the case. Low government, corporate government company, they do not have stable profit. That's usually the case. And I think that's a sort of very natural. If you don't govern well, certainly you will not make profit because you will have a lot of agency costs and that will waste you a lot of money. You will not profit.
Okay.
If it's good governance,
So,
you will make profit.
In this way, it's corporate governance affect earning
Yes.
and then dividend.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so. Yeah.
Now, next question is, when does corporate governance create value for the company?
When?
Yeah.
When does it? If the governance is good, I think people are trusting. People are trusting that, and they will invest money on there, and they will come up with some positive NPV project, and then you will make money.
So suppose we have two type of company. One is profitable company.
Yeah.
The other is less profitable company. Then which type of companies would allow corporate governance to create more value?
I think the richer.
So
Yeah.
if that's the case, then that's only lead to corporate governance.
I think this comparison, we cannot say that in a general way because richer company. If the non-rich firms have better governance, you will gradually make progress. You gradually make progress, gradually make more and more money. I think in terms of causality, is that good governance with cause the firms to have more money. We cannot compare richer or non-richer firms. In that way, I would say that if non-rich firms have a good governance, he will gradually catch up with the richer firms. I think the causality is good governance is the reason. So that's what I think.
Yeah, that's good argument. I'm just trying to give you a time.
Sure.
Okay, now next question.
Yes.
We know that market reaction to dividend announcement
Yes.
depends on the informativeness of price.
Yes.
For example, if price incorporate most of the information, then announcing dividend increase will not create much reaction. Am I right?
Yeah. Say it again.
If price contain most of the information,
Okay.
and in that case we call the price is high informativeness, then announcing dividend that would not create much market reaction. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Understand.
The question is, high corporate governance
Yes.
have higher price informativeness,
Yes, I understand.
or low corporate governance has high price informativeness.
I understand. Well, in that case, that would be a high CG company would have a high informativeness.
So we would expect less market reaction.
Yeah, I understand, but I think that high CG would be more effective to the point that people trust it. Still, even though people, that's informative, people have a lot of information, which is that information, not much information asymmetry, but people still trust, so give them a positive reaction. They still trust.
Good.
Yeah, I mean,
Good.
trust is much, I think trust is the issue.
Another explanation is that earning dividend increase
Yes.
signal more persist earning for high CG firms. For low CG firms, dividend increase could be more temporary. So consequently, the price reaction for long-term effect will be stronger. That's another way to interpret it. Okay.
Good interpretation.
Okay.
Okay.
Good job.
Go to the second one.
The second one?
Yeah, I come first.
Uh,
Sorry.
对，
对。
good job，good job。